Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. You'll have to forgive me if I sound a little bit tired, a little bit worn out. True to form, the game we're talking about today, in some sense of irony, is a little worn out and has been left for dead in some manner of speaking. We're going to be making our way through caverns, we're going to be working hard against all odds and trying to remain, above all else, we're going to try to remain unbroken. Hey folks, thanks for joining us again for another HP Gaming GameLINK video. For those of you who don't know me, and you should by now, my name is Matt and I am here finally to open up a whole big can of craziness as we unbox, as I said at the outset, the wonderful, hopefully wonderful I should say, Unbroken by Altema Game Studios and that other mob that I won't mention. This one has been in development hell for quite some time. Well, not development hell, been in shipping hell I should say. This one here, designed by RTM Safarov and developed by Altema Games and Golden Bell Studios, has suffered a crazy fate. Kickstarter, probably one of the most infamous Kickstarter campaigns. I'm happy to say and pleased to say that obviously I have received our copy, which is very exciting. Those of you, I'm not going to go into details on this one. This is about the actual product itself. The Kickstarter details you'll find on Reddit forums, Kickstarter's Board Game Geek. There's a whole threads dedicated to all of the stuff. There's along with board game news articles as well. Definitely worth a read if you want to know the full story, but we're not going to get into that now. This is a purely solo experience of a game, and that's what appealed to me when I first came across the Kickstarter way back in 2018. Yes, nearly 4 years ago it's taken for this one to get here. And RTM, if you're watching this, thank you for reaching out to me and getting in touch and obviously accepting my messages back and forth. I do hope you do keep continuing to make content. I'm expecting big things from the inside of this little box. And I'm also just excited to get into it. So we're going to bring the camera over. There are other people out there who've had a look at this one and have likened it to Die Hard in a Dungeon, which sounds awesome. Basically, you are the sole survivor of your troop of dungeon delvers. You've been left for dead and you have to use everything at your disposal, which is not much, to try and make your way out and survive. 20-30 minute playtime, 13 plus because some of the artwork's a bit not suitable for children, which is why I'm doing this one on my own, and definitely only one player, which is fantastic. Come on over, I'll show you what's in the box. But before we do that, probably should take the plastic off, shouldn't I? I don't know, the solo experience appeals to me because there are times when it's just me, everyone else has gone to bed, and I just want to game, and I'm not... Video games is one thing, but having a tactile experience rather than just holding the controller, I think that speaks to me more. As much as, don't get me wrong, there's some great video games out there. I'm late to the party, I know. I've just finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Great, loved it, fantastic. Glitchy as hell, but I loved it. Plastic, of course, goes on the floor. But having a solo experience as a board game and having it hopefully what I expect to be a great table presence. There's something about that. Arkham Horror, playing that on my own, Marvel Champions solo. I expect this to go somewhere along the lines of those as well. Different style of game, of course, but the same intense gameplay in a small little package. Let's bring you over, we'll have a look and we'll show you what's inside. And there it is, a very, very, very tiny box in comparison to some of the other things we've done recently, but there is a lot of stuff in there that I'm excited to get into. The artwork itself sort of gives you a bit of an idea of what is going on. Sole survivor, and there's all sorts of crazy mayhem happening here with these guys, chowing down on the remnants of your fellow dungeon delvers. You have been wounded, there's not a lot of resources at your disposal. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a fun time and a bit of a struggle. I understand that this is actually quite difficult, and that's not a problem. I do like a challenge. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Expedition was a disaster. Monsters waiting for you. Absolute chaos prevails. Side of the box, you've got some crazy little gargoyle minion dudes. The mythos of it all. I mean, the lore I think was fantastic during the campaign when they were developing all the different monsters and the backstories for the monsters, and there's different survivors as well. It's unfortunate because the campaign itself was very successful. It's just everything else beyond that was the problem. But that's okay, we're not here to talk about that. Let's have a look and see what's inside this bad boy and give you an idea of how it might actually play. Inside of the box has nothing inside it. That's okay, that's not what we're here about. We're here for the rest of it. So let's have a look and see what a rules reference. Solo game of survival and revenge, designed by this man, Artyom Safarov, and it's a very thick rulebook. My goodness, there is a lot going on here. Glossary, different advertisements from that other group that we talked about, all the different IPs. Now, if I remember correctly, and it's been such a long time, if I remember correctly, this is a bit of lore and story for you. There's a map, the map of the dark and the caverns that you're going to be making your way through. Sneak class, sage class, as I said, different stories. Glossary of terms as you play. And a big thank you to the 16,531 backers who helped make this game. And some of them are still yet to receive their copies, which is crazy. All the different backers here as well. Now, we backed at the Revenant level. So hopefully somewhere in here, if this is alphabetical, we might actually find a name. We shall have a look and see. Looking. And if you look very carefully all the way down here, that's me. Woot. Forever immortalized in this one. That's awesome. Unearthed Realms. New expansion coming out. I don't know anything is actually happening with that. We will see how we go. And then you've got the credits there as well. Very thick. I mean, what is that? Some of it's advertising, of course. There's like 46 odd pages. Craziness. What have we got here? We've got some sort of, looks like a fold-out double-sided poster. I think this was actually something that was included in our Revenant pledge as well, but I think they ended up putting it in for everybody. I could be wrong. There you go, signed by RTM as well. A solo game of survival of revenge. Look at those guys, they mean business, even though they have been bloody and beaten. And then all the monsters as well. Yeah, you wouldn't want to meet them in the dark. I do like the map. The map's very cool. Mine entrance. We never could have known what would happen down there. Keys for the cave walls and things as well. I like the idea of having this as a bit of a playmat. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that at all. Good details. Impassable chasm, underground lakes, ruins, keys. That's very cool. Bugbears, wyverns. Wow, I like the map. That's very good. Oh, we've got a die here, which has been etched. Rather than just screen printed. I like that. So these obviously relate to different values rather than pips. So that's very, very cool. I like that. And it's etched, which is very nice. And it's a nice, thick, big die as well. I think that was actually something that was one of the stretch goals to actually increase the size of that, which is awesome. And it works. Very much works, which is fantastic. Cards we'll have a look at in a moment. We've got an Unbroken bag. Now, I believe this is designed for different elements obviously get placed in the bag, and you draw from there different tokens and other bits and pieces as well. It's a simple enough bag. It's a little bit transparent, which may or may not, see, I don't know if you can see it there, the video may not do it justice, but you can actually see through the bag, but a lot of the tokens are going to have that dark feel, so I think that's going to be okay. The embroidery is nice on it too, which is good. Tokens, health cubes, and then obviously a little round marker as well, which is quite cool, a little Altema fox, which is cool. They're pretty straightforward, nothing too special about those. They're the same sort of basic cubes you find in other games. They're very clanky in their feel, but that's quite nice. The little round marker duva, double-sided, very cool, very high quality as well, which is great. We'll pop those back in their bag here, if I can get them in there without spilling any. should have done this video with like cuts and bruises and stuff in style of the game, which is awesome. Oh well, next time. Then we've got some references. We've got a score pad. So character, then you've got difficulty and the date you played, the final score at the end of the game. And there's 4 of these. So you could get through 4 games before you need a new sheet. I like that. That's cool. And there's quite a few in there. Quite a few bits and pieces they give you. So obviously many expect you to have many chances and play it a lot. I like that. So we've got a couple of different decks there. We have got quick start reference guides, which is nice. And then here, I'll move this to the side because there's nothing else in the box. We have got the boards. Now these are dual layered. I don't know if this is going to do it justice. You can see you've got a bit of a dual layer so the cubes won't move. Resource tracking, effort tracking, because obviously if you want to use more effort, depending on how much effort you have, how much energy you have. Time, if you run out of time, obviously that's very bad. You will be left alive, left alive down in the caves with no way of escape and basically starved to death. Monster tracker, health. Now I think the way I understand how it plays is you have a series of rounds, and at the end of each round there's a big encounter with a monster, and the monsters get progressively more difficult as you play, but it will depend on the decks that you draw and build as the game progresses. All right, we've got some symbol guides. So I think these are reference cards and other bits and pieces as well. We've got here symbol guides, basically telling you what sort of effort, small effort, medium effort, large effort, and the artwork on the little symbols is good. I do like those. Resources for cunning, metal, wood, food, treasure, time, armor and health for monster, your slashes die, and then Altema, which is this same as that other symbol we saw before. Now that's an actions guide as well on the back of that one. Sorry folks, I'll show you that one too. So general action to focus, you can spend 4 of your standard efforts to gain, what is the next one? A medium effort. And you can, inspiration, a general action, you can spend 2 medium efforts to convert it into a maximum effort. You can plan to gain cunning. You can craft on weapon card to upgrade that weapon, or you can scout as a travel action. So 1 effort and time will reveal a monster depending on the level of that monster. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels there. So if you scout and reveal the monster early, you'll have a better idea of how to react to said monster, which is very cool. Different character cards here. We've got the Sage. We have the Sneak. So the Sage and the Sneak is the actual class. So this is Helena, a bit of backstory character on there. And then you've got Mael, Krilla, Kea, who's on the box art, Niola. I'm going to skim through this. I do like there's blanks as well, so you can actually make your own. That's very cool. And then you've got some bare hands, weapons cards and things as well. So we've got here what looks like bare hands, clubs, knife, axe, spear, sword, maul, and other weapons. And these are blank weapons, advanced weapons and basic weapons, so you can make your own. I like that. And then you've got your bare hands. So if you're using nothing but your bare hands, left without any weapons, you can use maximum effort to do damage to armor. You can upgrade to the club or upgrade to the knife. You can't upgrade to both, so you'll have to then pick and choose. And that's where the game becomes awesome, because you then would have to, your decisions that you make would effectively change the outcome of the game. If you make a knife for a creature, you know, that doesn't have, where the club would do better, you could do yourself a disservice by growing into a different, upgrading weapons into different forms. Upgrade to the sword, upgrade to the spear. There's an axe, the spear, and obviously maximum effort and a medium effort does 5 damage. The sword, and of course the maul as well. Obviously the better weapons you have, the more chances you have of surviving the denizens of the dungeons and caverns. What have we got here? We'll go with some condition cards. We'll leave the monster cards till last. I think that's a good idea. So condition cards, these are all condition cards. I have a feeling some of these conditions may be bad. We'll see how we go. We've got some blank ones that you can fill out yourself. And then we've got a paranoid conditions. At the beginning of the battle step, the monster gains +2 health. Cursed. Yes, most of these are bad. All combat actions and general actions and travel actions have 2 extra effort required to do them. Passive, wounding attacks with attack power or 3 inflict 1 less health. Yeah, so most of these conditions are bad. You don't want to be pulling off the conditions. Passive, you may not use any skill. Reveal 1 less encounter during the exploration step. Panicked. Afraid, you may not rest during the exploration step. That's bad. Response, paralyzed. Yeah, no, all bad. All bad, no good. We do not want any of those conditions if we can avoid them. The skills, however, which have got little pulls on them, might be something we want to get our hands on. So these could be helping us to better craft weapons. Plastic on the floor. Who knows? We've got a couple of blank skills, so we'll get those out of the way. And then the skill backs there, which I like that they're identified by color. So condition is red, blue, obviously your skills, and that will sort of represent and relate to the cubes, I would imagine, as well. We've got improvised armor. After a monster's combat roll results in a wound or a daze effect, spend these resources, wood or blade, to ignore that effect. Perfect memory, patient, cautious. Yeah, we're liking these. Sacrifice, spend this to do 2 wounds. Then the skill bypasses armor. Berserk, vermin master. So if there's rats and things, you might be able to get a leg up. Counterattack, stoic, poison mastery, moss eaters, defensive stance, impale, outdoorsman, shadow, tinker. So you may use wood and metal interchangeably. Well, that's cool. Inventive, wrecker, combat wounds, passive, awareness, grim determination, daring, heroic, perseverance. That sounds cool. And of course, a survivor, which is what we're trying to do. That is the goal of the game, to be a survivor. We'll put those there. Then we've got our encounter deck, which is the largest deck of cards. Now, I'm not sure whether this will be a deck that you have to then deconstruct and reconstruct depending on your builds, or whether it's completely random and you just play the cards you dealt. Again, there's a couple of blank ones there, so you can put in your own encounters. But it looks like, I mean, the encounter deck has, you know, I would imagine monsters and all sorts of other weird and wonderful things, starvation, food spoilage. Who knows? Who knows? Let's have a look and see what we can find. First of all, we've got the Unbroken. Spend nothing to gain wood. So this is basically just a wood. It costs 1 time, though, it looks like, to buy that card. So maybe these cards get dealt face up and you can pick and choose. Lost love. A way out. That is what we need. 1 time to get that card, but it reveals 3 additional exploration decks, or cards, I should say. Dead End. Misguided Dreams, Idol Sacrifice, Talking Statue, Makeshift Blood Idol, Heavy Chest, Gain Treasure, A Surge of Confidence, Valuable Hoard, Maximum Effort, but you get 2 Cunning and a Treasure as well. But Treasure's not going to be any good to you if you are dead. Oh, so there's a blank monster there. I don't know whether that's meant to be just a monster card. Doesn't have anything on it. Then you've got Giant Protector, the Man with the Lantern. What is he doing in there? Who knows? An Abandoned Dungeon Door, A Clever Scheme, Foreboding Warning, Forbidden Room, Purifying Pool, Discard an Active Condition. Ooh, that could be good. But it costs 4 time. That's expensive. Ghostly Adventurer. That could be, you know, after you've lost one, there's just yourself, you're ghost of the previous explorer roaming the halls if you lose the game. Spearfishing, A Welcoming Spirit, Crystal Caverns, A Safe Place. Spend 1 small effort to gain a large effort. Gathering Strength, A Greedy Goblin. Spend some metal to gain some other resources. Another blank one. They're sort of just peppered throughout. It's a bit strange, but there's probably a reason for that. Spend and gain, Abandoned Camp, Mumbling Kobold, Dangerous Heights. What else we got? An Unexpected Teacher, Gain a Skill, draw 2, keep 1. Obnoxious, Bringing the Whelps, Starving Goblins, Disrupting the Feast. It's interesting because the artwork is the same, but the context has changed. Depending on obviously what's printed on the card. It's interesting use of the same artwork, and here is again the same artwork with an expanded picture with a trap. Another blank one, another blank one, another blank one. Chained Legacy. I like that, that's cool. I think that's the same as on the back of the encounter cards, yeah. That's the same artwork. I will say, first impressions, the art on the cards is pretty fantastic. That's the condition card there as well. Forsaken Shrine, Trapped Shrine. We've got Solace in Warmth, Goblin Wood Collector, Bed of Moss, Sickly Berries, gain food. There you go. Salvation for a price, that sounds about right. Slithering Snakes, Steep Ledges, Reaching the Shelter, Dislodging the Beam, Rusted Cages, An Unfortunate Adventurer. You search the corpse and find a metal resource, Wood Resource, Wooden Debris. Spend a small effort to gain 3 wood tokens, but it costs, again, a lot of time to do that. Looting the supplies. Wrecking is hungry work. Eat a food and gain those resources. Demolishing a tree lair. Edge of Exhaustion. Makeshift shelters. Catching a breath. Hunger pangs. Eat food to gain a large and a medium, a large and a small effort, I should say. Fruitful hunt. Bear trap. Again, the same artwork. Survival instinct. Gnarled branches. Deformed tree. Juicy bats. Dark places. Curious tracks, eavesdropping, cryptic markings. Spend a medium effort to gain 2 cunning. Could be very helpful. Spend small effort to gain a food, and that's because you're chasing rodents. Doesn't cost you time though. Slim yet nourishing. Discarded weaponry. Instrument of torture. That does not look like fun, especially if you're on the receiving end of it. Rusted armor. Raw hunting trophies, a chance to rest, glowing embers of the fire. Spend wood to gain 2 medium efforts. Spend wood to gain 4 small efforts in a secluded crevasse. Lumber enthusiast, boar ambush. Ooh, spend a medium effort to gain 4 food, but it costs you 4 time. Ravenous hunger, spend food to gain 5 small efforts. Suspicious fruit, 4 time to gain 2 food. I don't know. Could be expensive. Time could be a very important factor here. And then you've got burying a friend, a medium effort to gain a large effort. And then you've got a look ahead. So you spend a small effort to gain, reveal 3 additional cards, encounter cards for the next exploration. And then you've got here the map, Old Cartographer's Map. Spend 1 small resource to gain food. And again, cost of time, and that's the map we saw earlier. And there's a lot of flavor text on there as well, which is very cool. So as you go through, you'll explore those and obviously uncover all sorts of stories and things, which is awesome. Then, lastly, the only other thing we've got to talk about here is our quick start guides and what is going to be the monsters, which is awesome as well. So the quick start guides themselves are quite in depth. If you can see the correlation to the cards, they're quite large, and the monster cards are obviously very, very large in comparison. No chance of sleeving those, but that's okay. So the quick start guide is something you can have on display with you. It's got all the different bits and pieces of how to set up, gathering all the components and things. Then you've got a quick start reference for the travel phase. Start here and do this, do that, go to step 1A. I like this. Having a reference as you go is very cool. Combat phase, what happens, end of game. If you defeat your final monster in level 4 and do not die of starvation, you win. Calculate your score on the score pad and note your achievements if you win, or reshuffle to start all over again if you dare to revisit the dark. Remain unbroken no matter what. Quick start for combat phase as well. So you've got a combat phase reference. You've got a quick start guide with the travel phase, so the 2 phases of each round. And then of course you've got the monster level 1. That's a big slash. And they go all the way up to monster level 4. And then here we have the achievement card. Win the game after suffering a monster's ambush effect 4 times. Win a game without losing any small effort during the battle steps. Yeah, right. Like that's going to happen. And you've got more achievements there as well. Win a game with each of the 4 characters. Revenge, Best Serve Cold. I like that. It gives you a replayability factor. Very, very cool. All right, let's have a look at the monsters here. We've got monster level 1. There should be 6 in each. We'll put those there, and then we'll go into number 3, which is there, and number 4 is there. Monster level 1 is blank, so you can build your own, which is awesome. Then you've got the were-rat, Rosalind the were-rat. She looks, yeah, I'm not sure I want to contend with her, even though she's a level 1 monster. Combat actions, so you roll the die and she does whatever the results are. If you defeat her, you get the rewards, which is treasure, time, and obviously your efforts and your skill cards as well. So you can level up quite reasonably quickly. The Shrieking Fungus, which just looks like a hot mess. Kobold Crafter, Snark, a Feral Hyena, which has 4. The Gibbling has 2 health. And the Giant Spider, which you don't want to come across either. And they will have different actions and things as you play. And I think from memory, you draw these at random. So you'll have one level 1, one level 2, one level 3, one level 4 monster. But you never know what you're going to fight until you turn the card over. Moving on to our level 2 monsters now. Again, we've got a blank, which is awesome. So you can build your own Troglodyte. And this has 1 armor and 4 health. Again, combat actions and the rewards, which give you obviously major effort or a large effort. Skill cards as well, which is very good. But this guy imposes some nasty conditions. Then you've got the Imp. Ooh, it's being very, very sneaky there. And you've got Goblin Kemek. The Crazed Survivor living in the caverns. He's been there so long, he's grown claws. He does not look like he knows what's going on and would just basically attack whoever he can. A Cave Bear. He's got like wood splinters and stuff. He's pissed off. He's not happy at all. And then you've got the Abomination. What on earth is that? Look at this. Now, I believe there's a whole history of lore and stuff on the campaign page as well. So if you want to jump on the Kickstarter page, you can read more about these wonderful characters that we are discovering as we go. I'm going to put those there. Now we're moving on to a level 3 monsters, another blank card, and then we've got the Orc Brute. Now we're getting somewhere because they've got 1 armor and 7 health. They're getting much harder to beat at this point. And they've got some trickery as well, so you've got to try and use your smarts and your cunning to outplay them. Then you've got the Minotaur here as well, Andrak. Lots of time if he ambushes you, you lose 6 time. Ouch. The Hobgoblin, Steel Kraus, Savage Knoll. The Whips are looking pretty nasty there, unless you're into that sort of thing. The Dark Elf, Cantaria. And then the Bugbear Warlord, who's Bulgar. Yeah, he means business. Look at his the feathers in his cap here with all the skulls. And again, flavor text is very cool. I do like that. It's very, very good. All right, number 4, the big monsters. We'll get rid of the blank card. A Wyvern. Look at this, and there's a whole extra thing on this one. At the beginning of the battle step, immediately gain a poison condition. Combat action, spend a cunning and food to inflict 4 health. That's quite nasty. 16 health points. So to get to this point, to get to fight these monsters, you would have had to go through all sorts of crazy. And I'm pretty sure you'll be struggling to stay above that 16 health points. It's going to be a hard slog, and I kind of love it. Then we've got the Vampire, Lady Luna. Yeah, she means business. She's just fed by the looks of it as well. Vampire ignores your first attack. Ouch. The Troll, Moodulgin, is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Could not lose food. The Shaman, Mist Hunter. Again, serious business. Bit of a necromancer style. Again, 10. Oh, got then Ogre. 3 armor, 8 health. And the Basilisk, Ant Singy. 1 armor, 12 health. My goodness. The paralyzed condition enters play with 2 additional tokens on it. Wow. Messy business. They are going to take some killing, and I really like that. I just like the idea of defeating monsters on the way through to try and escape. I love that. There was a ton of stuff in that little box. I mean, that's the original box there. I love that. So good. The quality of the stuff is good. I think it's it's reasonable. It's obviously taken its time to get here, but the actual quality of the overall product and the cards and the print, the artwork, looking pretty good. Tell you what, that's all that's in the box. Let's come back out. I'll give you some final thoughts before we finish up. And there it is. As I said at the outset, a lot of contents in what is relatively a small box, but I think there's something about the production that appeals to me. The style of gameplay is interesting and intriguing as well. The fact that the rulebook is 46 pages for a solo game, That's kind of epic as well. It's actually bigger than that. It's got all those extra components, details of the backers and things, but that's irrelevant for the game itself. The fact that it's obviously going to be quite a bit of reading, I think, is interesting learning curve, and a fair bit of weight to what is effectively a deep strategy game, but just for one player, and plays in about 30 minutes, which I think is fantastic. One thing I will mention as well, we talked about the different cards here for your different heroes or survivors. They're actually double-sided. So one thing I failed to notice when I was looking through everything, I just got so excited. You've got all of the different classes, but on the back, you've got duplicates. Also different sexes and things as well, so different genders, I should say. So you can obviously pick and choose at your discretion, and obviously go through and try and win the achievements of playing with and winning the game with one of each of the classes available. At first glance, it looks pretty solid. I'm impressed, as I said, with the production elements. Obviously, I didn't know what to expect, having waited as long as we have. It's been quite a long time, but I am looking forward to going through it all, understanding how it works, and getting a couple of playthroughs done. The concept of the game was solid. That's why we backed it in the first place, or why I backed it in the first place. Unbroken looks to provide what it set out to provide, even though it is nearly 4 years down the track. Very excited it's finally arrived. If you are within Australia and you're still waiting for your copy, hopefully you would have received it by now. Hopefully the end is nigh for this drama that is. And obviously, you know, you'll be able to get it to the table and experience Unbroken for yourselves. If you want to check it out, by all means, if you want to see how it plays, by all means, pop a comment in the comment section below, or hit us up at orders@hpgaming.com.au. Let us know that you want to see us do a playthrough live on our YouTube channel, or a YouTube video for this one, and we will do so. If you want to join our Patreon subscribers, thank you very much to those guys. We really appreciate all your support. You can get on board our Patreon at the address that is on your screen, www.patreon.com/hpgamingau, and get yourself exclusive access, early access, and some fun rewards, including express shipping on all of your orders. In addition, you can always jump on the website, get your game on at hpgaming.com.au. We are now shipping to New Zealand as well, so if you're over there in the land of the long white cloud, you will be able to get some games through us as well. Folks, that is all we have based on Unbroken at this stage. I'm looking forward to seeing what else this game has to offer. If you've been watching our Got Your Backer series, you'll know a little bit more about the onslaught that this game has faced, and how the irony of the delays relating to the game theme is very, very hilarious as well. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you very much for clicking that subscribe button. If you haven't already, now's the time to do so. And we'll see you back at the table for more crazy gaming antics very soon. Until then, though, it is, of course, bye for now.